Okay, so why is hand to mouth the most effective form of survival? So what is hand to mouth? Hand to mouth basically is that all an individual makes is consumed. Like, you just make enough to sustain yourself, not more, not less. So you tell a lot of people hand to mouth living. He's living hand to mouth. They immediately get the feeling that this guy is struggling. Like, people don't like the whole idea that all you make is consumed and you have nothing left. Like you have no extra. But the thing is, hand to mouth is by far the most effective form of survival, and I'll explain that in a bit. You see, the average human being wants a little bit more than they have already. They want to have a little bit more. Like, if it's food, you want to have enough, you can eat, and like, even throw some, but that is wasting. And the whole earth, the universe even, is centered around the idea of efficiency. Just enough to sustain, not too much, not too less to have shoddy work, but just enough to sustain. For example, the earth is round. There's a reason why. Look at trees and how they're all designed. Nature, everything is designed to be efficient, as effective as possible. When you go to the wild, for example, every wild animal lives with the basic idea that they only go out there to hunt when they have to hunt. Look at lions, for example. They only hunt when they need to hunt. If they don't need to hunt, if they don't feel like they should eat, what do? They sleep all day. The sleep is not because they're lazy. The sleep is just to conserve energy, so they don't have to risk hunting. Risking hunting means they have to risk injury, which may be mortal. Um, you know, of course, there's the injury, like when lions are hunting big game like buffaloes. There's the injuries they have to face, the risk they have to take to venture into other territories, other predators. Basically, the idea is you don't have to stress yourself out. You want to survive, you want to pass your genes down, you need to stay alive. And how nature deals with this situation is most predators, most hunters, only hunt when they have to hunt. For example, imagine this. What if lions were fed up with the whole idea of hand to mouth? What if they decided, yo, say the big male had a meeting with the pride and said, uh, this week, bring down 10 buffaloes, we'll do 50 next week. And it's like, why? Why? Well, so we can have enough food for the entire pride, so we can grow, and I don't know, maybe conquer the entire, plane. That's how a typical human being would sort of think or plan. Let's have enough that we don't have to worry about lacking. So here's the idea. If lions decided to live that type of life, they'll have first of all to, step up their hunting. They'll have to hunt a little bit more than they used to. Meaning they'll risk more injuries, more lions will die, more cubs will probably not survive. And what will they do with all this game? They can't store it. They don't have fridge. They don't have any preservative form whatsoever. Meaning all this is gonna go to waste. That's not the reason they don't do it. Human beings have storage and so many other things, so we can get as much as we want. But what's the point of hand to mouth? The typical human being living hand to mouth is probably working a low-income job or a subsistent form. Like farming. They only have enough in their farm to sustain themselves. Like, say, the taxi. Okay, the taxi driver, not so much. But let's say the regular guy riding a motorbike. They just make enough money to feed their families. They make about 12,000 a month. A good 8 of that keeps the family alive. The rest buys stuff like, I don't know, they had to eat meat this week. They have bills to pay, television bills, electricity. All I'm saying is, most human beings live hand to mouth. Most so-called self-employed people live hand to mouth. Look at these people here, for example. The ones who actually have time to say, even run around like these two. they're exercising. You get to the point in life where you have time to exercise. Most people don't have that time. Most human beings have just enough to worry about sustaining themselves. Yet, as human beings, we hate that idea so much. Why I brought the whole issue of lions and the wild is, you see, we tend to imagine that wild animals. Oh, a Mercedes Benz. Don't get me wrong, I hate to notice one. I like those cars. I don't know if you can see it. It's the black one. I just like MBs. Back to what I was saying. We as human beings tend to imagine animals are greedy, and that's how animals behave. You know, for example, you give a dog meat, it won't take 10 seconds for a dog to chow down a whole kilo of meat. Uh, you go to the wild, you see how animals eat. They do it in such a way that they are so greedy. So we human beings imagine we are the gentle ones. We are not like animals. Many times you'll hear someone tell you, "Don't eat like an animal." We are human beings. We're civilized. You know, it's like animals are the ones who behave in a savage manner. But the truth is, animals are not as glutton as you may, think or have assumed. Human beings have like 3 meals a day, and I guarantee you, in every 3 meals, someone eats to their fill. At least most people eat to their fill. Of course, there's hunger. I know. The average human being has 3 meals a day, excluding snacks. You go to the wild, they have like 3 meals in 5 days. Most hunters hunt like once in every 2 days. Lions can bring down a whole buffalo once a week. It's a pride of say 12. They'll feast on that carcass for an entire week before they go hunting again. Basically, there isn't that much for them to just eat or have a feast. But we human beings do that all the time. You step out, there's snacks, there's junk food. To be fit in the human being mind is like an achievement. You know, like when you see someone and they're fit, you're like, wow, that guy is fit. It's like an achievement to be fit as a human being. You know, like not almost no one is fit, but you go to the wild, obesity doesn't exist. There's no such thing as a fat lion. There's no such thing as a fat zebra. Even elephants are not fat. They're just big. Human beings are fat. You know, you go to countries like the US, 60% of them are obese. At least that's what the statistics claim. So we eat too much. We just eat way too much. But we say we are civilized. We don't eat like animals. Why I say hand to mouth is effective or is efficient form of survival is this. You see, with hand to mouth, you only take what you need. All right, you don't take way too much. An individual only takes what they need. Like you go out there, you have enough to eat today. Okay, go home. The next guy can do the same. Like as human beings or as the population in general, you don't take too much. You only take what's enough so that you don't stress the environment. Let me give you a little bit of an example, to clarify my point. You see, in most nations, even this nation currently, everyone everywhere in the world, every nation, there's that idea of being a developed nation. Like you go to every state, they have an idea or some sort of method of how they can become advanced or fast world, as we say. The West seem to do a good job. Their standards of living are a lot more higher than, say, Africa, Asia, most part that is. If everyone was to live like an American or a guy in the UK, like if the whole world was to live like the West, we would have to squeeze about 5 times more from the earth in terms of resources, be it farms, water points, real estate, you name it, man. We will have to at least extract 5 times more for everyone on the planet to live like the average American. Think showering, for example. In the UK or in the US, they have bathtubs. An individual dips inside 150 liters of water, plays around and flushes it down. You come to a nation like Africa, for example, 150 liters can sustain an average family about 5 days. And by sustain, I mean everything from cooking to washing to literally everything. Almost a week, 150 liters. But to the US, someone showers, and bathtub and flushes it down. The idea is this: we can't have that type of lifestyles, like the type you see in the developed nations. It just can't work. We can't have that here. So most of us are supposed to live a subsistence life. You only take enough, and sometimes it appears like people are actually getting less, but that's fair. It's fair that way. It's arranged in such a way that you don't have too little here, you don't have too much here, but some people have too much. The whole idea of hand to mouth and why human beings hate it is because human beings are born achievers. We wanna achieve. You wanna achieve greatness. You wanna do this. You wanna do that. You have one car. You want 10. No one wants. No one is ever contented. Like it's just the way it is. Um, you eat. You wanna eat again. That's how human beings are. So like when the early human beings would go hunting, let's say the guys who were doing hunting and gathering, they'd bring down game and be like, why don't we bring two down so tomorrow we don't have to hunt, so that tomorrow we can go swimming? Aha, that's a good idea. They bring down two. They go swimming tomorrow. You know what? Next week, let's bring down four, so we can have a whole week off. They do that. And then they realize, you know what? This meat is going bad. We need storage. We can have it fresh, but we need storage. We have freezers now. So it took people to not be contented with their situations. It took people to believe that the current situations they were with currently were not good enough. Like, yeah, I know I can move, uh, you know, I can send a message to the next country. It will take a week, and someone is like, no, I want the message there in like 3 days, maybe. I want the message there in 40 minutes. I want the message there immediately. The whole idea of not being contented with what you have. Yes, I earn 50k, I want 60, I want 80, I want 100. So what do you have to do? Well, you have to work harder, you have to be more innovative, you have to be smarter, you have to prove you deserve it. And that's how innovation came in, because no one was contented with what they had. Everyone wanted something a little bit more. And that's the whole backbone of innovation. As much as we hate hand to mouth is real, and that's an understatement. Hand to mouth is important. Like, we can't have everyone driving 10 cars. The oil rigs can't keep up with that. We can't have everyone living in a 7-bedroom town. Uh, that's just not the way it is. We can't have everyone. I don't know. We just can't have everyone living their dream life, or having way too much that they don't have to. No. That's not how it works. But as an individual, you should not be contented. You should always seek to make improvements. It's ironic, but you just need to understand that having just enough to go by is okay, and wanting a little bit more is not a bad thing. So hand to mouth, to close or to finish, hand to mouth in itself is important. Keeps everything in balance, efficient, we don't waste. But at the same time, people have to not be contented with what they have, so they can improve on something. Like, you don't like your bed, you don't like sleeping on the floor. Well, you're healthy, but you don't like it. Well, then go get some money and buy a new bed. You don't like public transport. Why? I thought it was cheap. You move a lot faster. Well, you don't. If you hate public transport so much, buy your own car. It's gonna cost you like 1,000 times more if you can do it. At the end of the day, not everyone will buy that car. Many will have to stay in the public transport, whether they like it or not. I can't shit on someone living hand to mouth. I can't shit on the whole idea of hand to mouth. But it's risky. It's a risky idea. In the wild, when drought hits, almost everyone dies. You know, the slightest change in the whole pyramid can devastate multiple levels. And that's the problem of having just enough. Real life has emergencies, you know, people get sick. You have cancer, you know, like one moment you have it. You need M's you didn't have. You know, people die, your parents could die, suddenly someone has to step up. That's the risks of hand to mouth. In the real world, there's emergencies. A guy living hand to mouth cannot survive through emergencies. Some emergencies. But if you have more than you need, suddenly you don't worry about emergencies. You worry about maintaining that much. And I think that's a better problem. I think it would be a better problem to worry about keeping your granaries clean and pest free or secure from thieves than to actually worry about drought or how to find food in drought. Either way, you don't have to worry of the day that everyone will have excess. That will never happen. But you have to worry about the whole idea that, what about you? Say you don't have enough. What happens? An emergency strikes. What happens? That's how you have to consider the whole idea of hand to mouth. I'd rather have it like this: hand to pocket and then pocket to mouth. Like that, I control what goes into my pockets and I control what comes out of it to my mouth. As a result, I have pockets with something all the time. Should something happen, I can always reach for my pockets. But that's how I view it.